As the ship seems to sink, Ariel brings the passengers ashore and scatters them about the island. Alonso, the King of Naples. Sebastian, his brother. Antonio, my brother, and the usurping Duke of Milan. Gonzalo, an honest old counselor, are here in the fertile places. Here in the barren lands past the forest is Trinculo, a fool, whose name derives from the Italian trincare, which means?
To drink greedily.
Good. Not far in the briny pit, his friend, Stefano, a butler, who in Shakespeare's day was not an all-knowing Jeeves solving problems while pressing trousers, but rather the servant in charge of the wine cellar, butler being derived from the French for bottle, which is?
Bouteille.
Very good. Here in this odd point of land sits Ferdinand, the king's son, his arms wrapped in a sad knot, thinking in Alonso the king, his father, drowned, as he thinks, in the Tempest. Here my cave, the cave of Prospero, where I dwell with my daughter Miranda.
Hello.
We stand watching the ocean as the ship seems to founder.
If by your art, my dearest father, you have put these wild waters into the roar, I'll lay them. Oh, I have suffered with those I saw suffer. A brave vessel, dashed all to pieces. The cry did knock against my very heart.
Be collected.
Oh.
No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe the day.
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father.
More to know did never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee further. Lend thy hand and take my magic book from me.
Oh.
Carefully. And don't throw it.
You've often begun to tell me what I am, but then stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay, not yet.
The hour's now come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear, obey, and be attentive. 12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since, thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power, and his only heir, a princess, no worse issued.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we that we came from thence? Our blessed west we did!
Both, my girl. By foul play, as thou sayest, were we heaved thence, but blessedly holp hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds, please you, farther.
My brother and thy uncle, called Antonio, I pray thee mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious, he whom next thyself of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state. You hear? The government I cast upon my brother, and to my state grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Thy false uncle, dost thou attend?
Sir, most heedfully.
Being once perfected how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance and who to trash for overtopping, new created the creatures that were mine, I say, or changed them, or else new formed them, set all hearts in the state to what tune pleased his ear. Thou attend'st not.
Good sir, I do.
I pray thee, mark me. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind, in my false brother, awaked an evil nature. He being thus lorded, made such a sinner of his memory to credit his own lie. He did believe he was indeed the Duke, hence his ambition growing. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough. Of temporal royalties he thinks me now incapable. Confederate, so dry he was for sway with the king of Naples, to give him annual tribute, to pay him homage, subject his coronet to his crown, and bend the dukedom yet unbowed. Alas, poor Milan, to most ignoble stupid.
Oh, the heavens!
This king of Naples, being an enemy to me, inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he, and knew of the premises of homage, and I know not how much tribute, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Milan with all the honors on my brother. Whereon a treacherous army levied. One midnight did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of darkness hurried thence me and thy crying self.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Well demanded, wench. My tale provokes that question. Dear, they durst not. So dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with colors fairer painted their foul ends. In few, they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a butt, not rigged, nor tackles, sail, nor mast, the very rats instinctively have quitted. There they hoist us, to cry to the waves that roared to us, to sigh to the winds, whose pity, sighing back again, did us but loving wrong.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine. Some hot food we had, and some fresh water, which a noble Neapolitan, one Gonzalo, of his charity, he, being then appointed master of this design, did give us, along with rich garments, linens, stuffs, and necessaries, which since have steaded much. So of his gentleness, knowing I loved my books, he furnished me from my own library with volumes that I prize above my dukedom.
Would I might but ever see that man.
Now I arise, sit still, and hear the last of our sea sorrow. Here on this island we arrive.
And heaven be thanked for it. But now I pray you, for still 'tis beating in my heart, your reason for raising the sea storm?
By accident most strange, bountiful fortune hath now, my dear lady, all mine enemies brought to this shore. And by my prescience I find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence if now I court not but omit, my fortunes ever after will droop.
But how did we get from the...
Dear, cease more questions.
No, Dad!
Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou canst not choose. I am ready now. Approach, my Ariel, come! Ariel, my brave spirit, there's more work.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet delivered.
How now, moody? What is't thou canst demand?
My liberty!
Hast thou forgot from what torment I did free thee?
No, I do not, sir.
Dost thou forget that foul witch Sycorax, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? This damned witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries too terrible to enter human hearing, from Algiers, thou knowest, was banished. Is not this true?
Aye, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and here was left by the sailors. Thou, my slave, refusing her grand hest, she did confine thee in a cloven pine, within which rift, imprisoned, thou didst painfully remain a dozen years, within which space she died. Oh, what torment did I find thee in! Thy groans did make wolves howl and penetrate the breasts of ever angry bears. It was mine art when I arrived and heard thee that made gape the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurest, I will rend an oak and peg thee in his knotty entrails till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Pardon, master, I will do my spriting gently.
Do so, and After 2 days, I will discharge thee.